Uh-oh. Hello, uh-oh. There we go. How are you today? How are you today? How's everybody? God is so good. God is so good. He is so faithful and he is so good. I was trying to get myself set up here. Um, but yeah, I wanted to come on today because, I just love engaging with people. I love, I love life. I love people. And so that's what I'm doing. I just want to build a positive connection and community with support. Because if you've been on my page, you know that I talk about my testimony all the time, how God has kept me 25 years with HIV. And when I tell you I am truly blessed, I talk about it all the time because I'm truly blessed. Like, God has given me this opportunity to have this platform to do that. And last night, I'm telling you, I could not go to sleep. God woke me up at 1:30 in the morning. And I'm going to tell you that it's crazy how I was talking about it on my lunch break, how the time is near. We see everything that's going on in the world. We see the natural disasters, we see everything. So we just have to be prepared and we have to be aware and know um that God is, listen, God is waiting on us. And I know people heard it all the time. God is literally, I can't talk, literally, I can never say that word, but waiting on us. Um, and that's all God is doing. He's just waiting on us. He's waiting on us to get it right. He, He's there. He is there. And I know that, like, it was in my spirit yesterday. And I was talking about my status. I came on a live talking about me. Um, Hi, hello, how is everyone? I came on a live. Hi, Plush World and Side Eye. How are you guys? How is everyone today? So, um, good. I'm good, thank you. So, even today, yesterday, I'm telling you, I was talking about me, and for some reason, God had me go another way because I know somebody needs to hear this, that somebody has been praying for a long time for something and for things to happen. And all we have to do is stay consistent with praying and stay consistent with knowing that He's going to do it. And I got a message. And yesterday, when I told this story, telling them what God told me yesterday, today I got a message that somebody was waiting on a blessing and that blessing came through for them. And when I tell you, I was literally talking about my status, about how God blessed me for being here 25 years with HIV. And He has blessed my life. He has literally blessed my life. And when I was telling this testimony yesterday, somebody literally got blessed by what I was talking about yesterday. And again, today, it's still in my spirit. God bless that soul. Hey, thank you. And today it's still in my spirit that somebody is waiting on a blessing. And I just want you to know that God, listen, I'm gonna say it, let me go back to it. Um, Let me go back to it. Because I have to get to it. Bible scripture. So, um, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And a lot of times we don't see what God is already going to do for us. We have to have the faith and know, even though we don't see it, we know that it's on its way. We know that God is preparing us for it, right? Preparing us for our blessing. Sometimes we want our blessing, but we can't get it prematurely because we're not ready for it. That's just the thing. We're not ready for it. And a lot of times, um, we just have to be consistent. Like I said, be consistent in our prayers. It's so many things that I am asking God for, and I definitely know that it's going to come through because I trust and I believe and I have faith. It may not be when I want it, but it's definitely going to be when it's time for Him to bless me with it. So, another Bible verse, Mark 11:24. There I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. It say it right here in the word. I'm telling you, it say it right here in the word. Hi, Miss Dixon. How are you today? How are you today? I'm just up here talking about how good God is. That's all I'm doing. If, you know, that's all I can do. That's all I can do is just be me and do what God is telling me to do. And that's constantly spread His word and tell the world how good He is. I know a lot of you that's watching, a few of you that's watching right now, you already know how good God is, right? Fine, thanks, Father Almighty God. Amen. You already know how good God is. And I know some of you have testimonies on what God has done in your life. Each and every one of us on this earth have some type of testimony on what He has done in our life, regardless of if it's going through childbirth, having children, getting a job, getting the house that you want, the car that you want, the husband or the wife that you want, having food on your table every single day. Um, just being blessed to be able to do something. So all of us have some type of testimony that God has done in our life. And I'm going to always tell my testimony because I have to show the world, and I just have to tell the world like how good He is. And like if you follow me on YouTube, on TikTok, I tell my story that I've been living with HIV for 25 years. And how I contracted it, um, how my daughter saved my life. She's 24 years old now, but she saved my life because when I thought that the man that I was with, who's her father, the man that who I thought was like my soulmate, I gave my all to, and I trusted him with my life. Never once told me that he had HIV, and never would have told me if I didn't get pregnant. And when I got pregnant, that's how I found out that I had HIV. But I tell my whole story on how everything went on, and by the grace of God, I'm still here. Um, and back in 2020, I had developed COVID, and twice in 2020. So in March of 2020, I had COVID, and in October of 2020, I had COVID. Both times I was in ICU. The second time was the worst. I had COVID. Not alone, like I was telling you, I'm HIV positive. So I had COVID, HIV, double pneumonia, COPD, and asthma. That could have easily taken me out, right? But God saw fit for me to still be here. And then a month later, I lost my mom to COVID. And when I tell you, there's not one day that I do not think about this lady, that I wish she was here. Everything that I'm doing right now on like telling my story, I know that my mom would be sitting right next to me. My mom would probably be sitting right here as I'm doing my lives. That's how supportive my mom was in everything that I did. And hello, Dolores, how are you? I am doing amazing today. Each and every day I'm doing amazing. I mean, some days are not as best as others, but guess what? I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still living. So I am grateful. Now, God never promised us that every day will be, peaches and cream, everything will be good. He never promised us that. He told us that we would go through trials and tribulations. But in order to withstand those trials and tribulations, we have to study his word. We have to put on the whole armor of God to protect us. Now, there are a lot of times where I have days where I want to dwell in my sorrow. But then I started thinking about how good God is. Like somebody has it worse than what I have. So I can't sit in my sorrow because it's not going to do anything. It's literally not going to do anything but make things worse. And then do, when you do start sitting in your sorrow, then what will happen? You'll start having probably some type of migraine, body aches, high blood pressure. A lot of things will start happening to your body when you decide to um, allow your issues take over your body. And that's one thing I'm not going to do. I let it happen to me back in 2010. And I know on like YouTube and TikTok, I know you have to use the word unlive, but I tried to do that in 2010, 2011, 7 times. 7 times I tried. Each time God brought me out, he saved my life. And my daughters were young, but that's because I was going through so much, like handling the world, being newly diagnosed with HIV, people rejecting me, like my friends rejecting me, um, still in a relationship with my daughter father. It was just so much that was on me and that was weighing me down. I lost my job. Um, I had caught the flu when I was working at an urgent care. And so I was a patient at that urgent care like a few years before. So the owner knew me. So he was very involved with the clinic and he knew me. So I ended up catching the flu and I was really, really sick. So I was in the hospital for about, I think, 10 or 12 days. When I got out the hospital and I went back to work, he called me in his office and he asked me, he said, "Is there something you want to tell me?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, I looked in your file." He said, "You never told me you had HIV." I said, "I didn't have to tell you that I had HIV. There's some things that you don't have to tell your employer. As long as you're using universal precaution, I should not have to had disclose my information." So he fired me because he found out I had HIV. When I tell you, I was getting hit after hit, blow after blow, and it felt like the world was caving in on me. Like it felt like I said, my friends was leaving. Like people who I thought was my friends, when they found out I had HIV, they didn't want to deal with me anymore. It was just so much going on. Like, and I thank God that I am the person I am now because the people that I thought were my friends was not meant to be in my life anyway. So I'm just so grateful that he has given me the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and the right people to be in my life. And so God had told me to start telling my story. First, I did it on YouTube. I did it 3 years ago. And no, 2.5 years ago. And so when I started telling my testimony, I was getting so many negative comments to where I stopped. I said, "God, I can't do it. I don't know why you chose me to do it. I can't do it." And so I didn't do it for a while. I didn't get on no social media. I didn't get on YouTube. I didn't do any of that because I could not take the rejection of what people were saying. "Oh, you're dumb, you're stupid. You should have tested him. You should have did this. You should have did that." And now today I can sit and love myself. When I tell you I love every inch of me, there is nobody that can tell me anything different. Um, but it took a long time for me to get here. A long time for me. If you go back and look at my videos, you can see that I was not truly ready to tell my story, but it was something that God told me to do. So then a few months ago, he told me that I had to do it again. I have to be obedient. And so when I tell you, when I did it this time, of course it's some negative people, but I was getting an outpour of love. It was it's still so many people saying that I have saved their lives, with my story, and they have family members who's positive, and they didn't really know how to, address them or things like that. So I thank God that I have this platform and He told me to do it, so that's why I'm doing it, and just to bring awareness, because it's not talked about as much as it should be. And I live in Michigan. It's over 11,000 people who has HIV in Michigan alone. Not these other states, but just in Michigan. And then not even the ones who have not been tested. So imagine it's so many people who are walking around with it and who does not know, because sometimes symptoms does not come right away. Some people can have HIV and live with it for like 10 years and don't even have symptoms. And that's why I'm doing it, to bring awareness and to just make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. Um, I know some people will be like, you know what? They'll look at my page and they'll scroll through it. But guess what? When I was in high school, and I'm going to tell you this really quick. When I was in high school, I remember a lady came to my high school. Now, this was back in, I think it was like 93. I can remember it like it was yesterday. She came to my high school and she was talking about HIV, and she was saying how she was HIV positive. I was sitting in my auditorium and I said, that'll never be me. And the reason why I said that would never be me, because first of all, I was not sexually active. Second of all, I was always in church. Third, um, I, what was it? I was always in church, not sexually active, and I just knew I wasn't going to be a statistic. I knew that was not going to be me because I was holding myself until I got married. Well, that wasn't the case. So, um, I have a daughter that's 28 by someone else. I, when my daughter was 2.5 years old, I met this guy. He was absolutely amazing. Went to high school with him, so I felt like I knew him. Everything, it just felt like a fairy tale. Everything was just amazing. And lo and behold, he never told me he had HIV. I ended up contracting it, and I found out when I was pregnant. So that's how I contracted HIV. And then the people that was saying, these negative things to me, I started thinking, I was like, how many of those people has ever slept with someone because they trusted them without protection? Hi, Sandra, how are you? How many of those people? I started thinking. And so I was like, God, people do make mistakes. Did I make a mistake? Yes, I did. I made a mistake for trusting someone who, I don't know. But I was with my daughter, my oldest daughter father, for 4 years, and everything was fine. So when we broke up, when I got into this relationship with um, my daughter father, I'm like, it was too good to be true. So I trusted him with my life. I'm like, I went to school with him. He even knew my family. I didn't even know. It's a small world. He even knew some of my family, which I didn't even know. So I'm like, this is too good to be true. Everything just lined up. And I was so excited. I was so excited for this relationship. I was so excited for the relationship. And if I did not get pregnant with my daughter, I would have never found out. She saved my life. I would have never known. And it probably would have been gone too long, to where it probably would have been too late for me to have treatment. So I wouldn't be here today telling my story, trying to save someone else. Baby, your testimony is changing lives. God is a healer. Trust him. Yes, I do trust him. Impact for Life Ministries. Thank you so much. I do trust him. Listen, I trust him with my life. I trust him with every being in me. When I tell you that, And for someone who don't have a relationship with him, I advise you to have a relationship with him because he's an on-time guy. There are times where um, I didn't know how I was going to come out of something, and he was right there on time. Like right now, my car broke down. I do not have a vehicle. And do you think I have been stressed out about having a vehicle? No, because I know that he's going to bless me with one. I know that it's going to happen. Um, I definitely know that it's going to happen. I know that, um, yeah, I was homeless. I was literally homeless last year. And God blessed me with my apartment. The apartment that I was not even going to apply for, the apartment that I wanted, but I didn't know that I would even get it. When I tell you that right now I'm working on my credit score, my credit score was not even where it was supposed to be to get approved for this apartment. So I'm telling you, God, He is so amazing. He is so amazing. There's no way that I would not live for Him. There's nobody in this world. There's not enough money in this world that can keep me from serving Him and telling people how good He is. Because each and every one of us, and I said it on a video that I posted today. Like the time, our time is getting near, and God has showed me so many times our time is definitely getting near. People don't like to talk about it because some people are afraid. Some people are afraid to die. And my thing is, if God came today and He said, um, it's time for you to go with me or you can stay with your family, I would definitely choose Him because I would rather be in eternal heaven with Him than to lose my opportunity than to not follow Him. And that's what we have to do. We have to follow Him, even sometimes when it does not even seem right. If it doesn't seem right, and you're like, when God tells you something, you're like, wait a minute, but it doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right. And a lot of times it doesn't have to feel right or seem right to us. It's what He is trying to do for us. So if we continue to listen to Him, listen to His instructions, um, you would definitely see the blessings that He is trying to give you. And all of us, every last one of us, were born on this earth for a purpose. All of us have a purpose, regardless if you believe it or not. It took me a long time to know what my purpose was. I didn't know that my purpose was going to be talking about my story and trying to help other people and change lives. I didn't know that this was my story because I was very shy. You probably wouldn't believe it, but I was very, very shy growing up. I hated the way I looked. I didn't like my skin color. I didn't like my lips. When I tell you my hair, I had a lot of hair. My hair was really long, but it was really, really thick. It was so thick, it was hard to put a comb through it. That's how thick my hair was. But then I started processing my hair, putting perms in it, and just destroying my hair. So now, um, I literally took the braids out, the twist out, because it was bringing my hair out more. And now I'm just wearing my hair natural because I want to grow my hair back. But a lot of times we we choose to not really live for Him, and that's what we were put on this earth to do. We wasn't put on this earth like He gave us choices. It started in the book of Genesis. He gave us choices. And now that I'm starting to talk about the Bible, it's people leaving, but that's okay. But God gave us choices. And the thing is, are you going to do the right thing or are you going to do the wrong thing? And we live in sin. So, of course, every day is not going to be perfect. That's why He give us days where we can repent and ask Him to forgive us for our sins. But what I'm trying to get at is there are so many blessings out here for us. There are so many blessings out here for us. A lot of our blessings we can't get because we're not listening to Him. We are not listening to him and not obeying him. And a lot of times, we say, God, I pray for this, I pray for that, I pray you pull me out of this, I pray you pull me out of that, I pray for a car, I pray for a house, I pray for this, I pray for that. And God said, but where's my time? I'll do it. I'll do it for you, but where's my time? And that's what we have to do. Like, we were bought by a price. We were bought at a price. Jesus came on this earth to die for our sins. If he didn't do it, none of us would be here. But he did it to die for our sins. So we were bought we were bought at a price. And that's why we have to get it right. Because I know all of us don't want to go to hell. Some people don't believe in heaven or hell. I do, because God showed it to me. He showed me. And I wish my mom, man, if my mom was here, she would tell you. She would literally tell you the experience that I had when I saw heaven. I was dead and I saw it. It was so beautiful. When I tell you the light was so bright, my spirit came out of my body and I saw myself laying. And this is, my mom had called the EMS. I was at home. I was laying on the couch. I saw my spirit looking at my body on the couch. If my mom was here today, she would tell you everything that happened. It was, when I tell you, it was so beautiful. It was so peaceful. And I don't know what happened. I came to and my spirit went back in my body. I literally felt it. When I tell you, I cannot make this stuff up. I cannot make this stuff up. And I know it's so many other people who have experienced heaven and hell. I definitely experienced heaven, but God showed me what hell was. And the only reason why I say he showed me is because I was asleep. And when I tell you, it felt like I was in hell. It was dark, it was smelly, people were wailing and crying and screaming. It was so hot. When I tell you, it was so hot, you could not withstand it. And all I was doing was screaming and crying. I was asking God to please bring me out of this. And when I woke up, it felt like I literally thought I died and went to hell. When I woke up, I had told my husband what happened. I ran in the room, told my daughters what happened. And I said, listen, I said, if y'all do not get yourself right now, y'all need to get yourself right now, because there is a heaven and hell. I experienced heaven and God showed me hell. And I said, God, after that, I said, God, please. I said, please let me go to heaven. I don't, no, 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 no. No. Mm-mm. I always say we are, a lot of stuff that we've been through, it feel like that we are living in hell. But no, to live in hell for eternity, that is absolutely nonsense. Who want to experience that? Who want to experience that? It's so hot, you I can't even describe the heat. When I tell you I felt every inch of it, I woke up drenched in sweat. I was terrified. I called I called my sister, I called my brother, I called my aunts. Like, I was telling everybody what happened. And now that we are in our end times, like, we really have to get it right. We see everything that's going on in the world. We see the natural disasters, all these fires, um, our government, Israel and Iran, like, all of this stuff he talked about in the Bible. He literally taught it. He's talked about it in the Bible, and we're living in it. And I heard somebody say, this was the other day, I don't know what I was watching, but they said, and I don't know how true it is. They said 20, did they say 2030 or 2050, something like that, that the world was going to completely end, and that's when Jesus is going to come down on the horse, because it describes how he's going to come, and it describes that he's going to come down on a horse. Um, he's going to have it's going to be fire, and his eyes are going to be red. I mean, it describes it all in the Bible. I'm trying to see what book it's in, because I don't like to I literally do not like to say things out of the Bible without backing it up. That's just me. Let me see. Okay, so it says it's in Revelations 1 7. It says, "Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him." Um, Jesus will return, won't be hidden or secret. It won't. He will come in the clouds, just as he ascended. And then it says, and that is Acts 1 9 through 11. So I always like to back it up with what I say. Um, let me see. And then it says, Revelations 1 13 through 16. It says, "Someone like a son of man, dressed in a robe, reaching down to his feet, with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like a sound rushing waters. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance." That's how they say he's going to be coming back. The same way that he is in heaven right now, it's the same way he's going to be coming back. They said that he's going to be riding on a white horse, symbols of victory and purity. But yeah, and that's why I say we have to we have to get ourselves right, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to live in prosperity and live with him. And I pray that God is pleased with me. I really, really try every single day to try to please him in doing something. And I always tell people, like, it only take one comment to be nice. You don't know what somebody is going through. You don't know their story. And it only take one comment to have somebody um, end up, killing themselves. It would only take that one comment, and it only take one comment to just say something nice to somebody. That's it. That's it. That's all it takes. Like, we as people nowadays, it's like you can't say, you know, a woman is beautiful without you being described as being gay. Oh, that woman is so, oh, she's so gorgeous, she's so pretty. It doesn't mean that you are. You just see a beauty in somebody that God has created. God has created all of us in his image, and it's okay to give people um to tell people, to acknowledge people on how they look. Keep ministering, my sister. You have a very beautiful and gentle spirit. Blessings on you. Thank you, Impact for Life Ministry. Thank you so much. But, and I'm just telling the truth. This is, we we all have a job to do for God. We are all his servants. We all have some type of job to do. I don't care if it's taking care of your kids. I don't care if it's taking care of a loved one, um, going to work and ministering to people, going to church, um, doing something. We all have a ministry. We all do a ministry. Um, and sometimes people don't think that what they do is ministry. If you're a mother and you're pouring into your children, that's a ministry. If you're a sibling pouring into your and if you have siblings pouring into them, that's a ministry. If you have relatives, aunts, cousins, and you're pouring into them, that's a ministry. It doesn't mean that you have to be in somebody's pulpit. It doesn't mean that you have to be out ministering and preaching the word. But if you're ministering to people every day, that's a ministry. That's definitely a ministry. So we all have it in us. We just all do it in different ways. That's all. And that's why I'm so excuse me. That's why I'm so adamant about constantly spreading his word and and telling people how good he is. I never thought in a million years that I would be sitting here doing this because I am so quiet. Like right now, all I've been doing is juicing and drinking water because I want to cleanse my body. I want to get closer to him. Hello, Lashanta. How are you? I want to get closer to him. And I want to do his will. I want to change my lifestyle. It's a like I have to reset my body from all the things that I've been eating that has damaged my body, like having hypertension. I was pre-diabetic. I'm not pre-diabetic anymore because I changed the way that I eat. Um, so right now, I definitely have to get my blood pressure down. My blood pressure was up in the 200s. Literally just a few months ago, well, the beginning of this year, I had a migraine and stroke, which is a migraine that mimics a stroke because my blood pressure was so high. And God still saw fit for me to still be here. My blood pressure was like 209 over 116, something like that, but it was really high. I was having all of these symptoms. And like, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. I just love coming on my lives. I love telling people about my testimony and about my stories because I just pray that it touches someone and it changes someone life to where they will make better decisions. One thing that it was very hard for me to do was get away from junk food and salt. Right now, so salt is still a big, well, it's not a big problem. It's not as big as it was, but junk food, I got that under control. Um, I just um, I don't have a desire for it like that anymore. And I'm fine the first time catching your live. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad you finally got on. Um, I just love, listen, I call everyone that's on my live and that joins me, I call you guys my community, my family, because you don't have to, you don't have to stop and listen to my live. You don't have to follow me on my social media. You don't have to do it. But you do it because you see what God is doing in me. And I just thank you for that. I thank every one of you for that. I am truly blessed and I don't take anything for light. I don't take anything lightly and I don't take it for granted. Because like I said, you did not have to do it and you don't have to do it. But I'm just so grateful for what he's doing in my life. And I really pray that, my stories and the way that God is transforming my life, I pray that, it will help someone else get to where they're trying to get to. And like I said, it is not easy. It's not easy staying in your word constantly because a lot of us have backslid before. A lot of us have backslid before, not staying in our word, completely just not leaving God, but not giving him our all. Um, and I have done that. Oh, thank you so much. But I have done that. Like, I would have still saved myself when I was younger if I was not following my friends, right? My friend, these are my friends in church. They were telling me, oh, you need to have a boyfriend. So I'm in high school. I wasn't thinking about having a boyfriend. I was literally thinking about, saving myself until marriage and just going to college and doing things. But I allow temptation to take over. And I see all my, church members having boyfriends, but then they started having babies. And I'm like, I'm definitely not doing that. So a lot of my church members, they were teen moms. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so I ended up getting a boyfriend, ended up getting pregnant with my daughter. And then, like I said, when I got with my second daughter, father, after I broke up with my first daughter, we were together for 4 years. My daughter was um, 2.5 years old, and ended up getting with my youngest daughter, father, and contracting HIV from him. And I used to beat myself up when I found out that I was positive. I was beating myself up. I just couldn't believe that I put myself in that position. I literally couldn't. Still to this day, anybody that if you know somebody who has HIV, they will tell you the same thing, that they wish that they would have done things different at that time. I wish I would have done things different, but I still wish that I would still have my daughter that I have, because when I tell you, she's absolutely amazing. That is my best friend. She that's my best friend. She saved my life. She literally did. She saved my life, and I give God all the glory and the praise, because if it was not for her, I would have never known. And she has when I come back on my next life, I'm gonna have her come in, so she can say hi to you guys. My daughter is so shy. She's like I was when I was young. She's very shy, so she don't like to be noticed. But I'm so grateful for her, and she is so into the word. She literally gave her life to God, and she lives for Him, and I thank God for that. I was positive in my pregnancy with my second daughter. Yes, that's how I found out. Um, when I went for my prenatal workup, and that's how I found out that I had HIV when I got pregnant with my second daughter. Yeah. And so, were you positive? And so, thank God she's negative. I thank God. I thank God that she's negative, and it's because of the medications that they have you on, when you're pregnant, and even during labor. It's because of the medications they have you on to make sure that the baby don't contract it when you give birth. So I thank God every day for her life, and she's just so amazing. But like I said, she just completed a prayer journal, which is up on Amazon, um, and I'm so grateful for her. That is a blessing. Yep. But I'm so grateful for what God is doing in her life. And yeah, so Empress, I just watched your first video explaining how you became HIV. I admire your courage and determination to turn it around and strive despite what you went through. Thank you so much, Empress. Thank you so much. Yes. So yeah, I'm grateful. Even with me having HIV, I'm still grateful, because He has given me life. Even though, there are some days where I do not I do not feel good some days. But guess what? I still get up every single day. I still get up and I thank God. I still thank God for just bringing me through the day. Even though I have HIV, I thank Him every single day. Every single day. I don't know. I just thank Him for my life. I just learned to adapt with it. That's what it is. I just learned to adapt to it. I don't allow it to control me. I used to allow it to control me. I allowed it to control my life. I didn't have a life. Oh, thank you, Marcia or Marcia. I'm sorry. That's right. Give thanks. Yes, I do. Like I don't allow it to take over my life anymore. Like I I lived in misery, and I told Steve, I admire your courage and strength. You're a true woman of God. Thank you so much, Stacy. Thank you so much. But God, man, if you guys know the things that I've been through living with this virus, how many times that I literally almost died, was in a hospital in ICU so many times, but he spared my life. And I told him this last time, I told him um, I had COVID. Um, I can only imagine. Yeah, I had COVID in 2020. And like for you that's coming on like now, you have HIV, but HIV don't have, nope, HIV does not have me. Um, keep thankful and praying. He says, thank you. My husband is here. I'm lit. When I tell you that, that's a whole nother live. I'm gonna have to explain this on my next live because it's gonna take too long to explain. So I'm definitely gonna explain it on my next live. What's today? Today is Monday. So Wednesday I will be back on at 7:30, and I'm gonna explain what I am working on it. God separating me from Him. I am literally working on it. But I'm telling you, through it all, I am still here and I am still thankful. Um, yeah, I'm still here and I'm still thankful. That's all I can say. And I'm just so grateful for my life. I am really grateful for my life. But I'm gonna definitely tell you on my next live because we don't have enough time right now. Because I'm about to get off in a minute. I have to go juice but like I said, I'm juicing and like drinking water. That's what I'm doing for the next week, is doing that. No one is perfect. No, no one is perfect. Remember, Paul had a thorn in the flesh and asked God to take away, but told him, my grace is sufficient. Yes, he sure did. He surely did. He surely did. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna tell you on my next video, in my next live, which is gonna be on next Wednesday. I'll be back on at 7:30. Admire your strength. God got you. Yes, He do got me, LaShanta. Definitely. I know He every single day. Um, he wakes me up between the hours of 1:30. I said 7, 1:30 a.m. and between 1:30 and 4:30 a.m. every single night. Every single night, He wakes me up. And so what I do, I immediately get up, I go get on my knees, I pray, and I read my word. And I spend that time with Him because I know it's something that He's trying to tell me, He's trying to show me. Um, I've been praying for so many things, and I'm just praying that doors open up for me. I really do. In the name of Jesus. There is a Jamaica plant called, oh, I heard of that. Soursop. You should try getting the leaves. Is an amazing medicine. So many elements. Looking, I literally heard about that on, I think it was on TikTok. Yes, I am definitely about to get that. I'm gonna go to the they have it at the I think it's Whole Foods, and they have it at the, I can't think, Fruit Market. Yes, thank you for telling me that because I totally forgot about it. But yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to get that. But yeah, but I'm definitely not going to forget. But I'm going to tell you guys about, you know, everything leading up to how I ended up, marrying my daughter father. But I don't want to give too much information away because I wrote a book, HIV to God. It has so much information in there. I don't want to tell you everything and then people won't purchase my book. So, but it will be out soon. Um, Please look into that, okay? It's a miracle plant, but many don't want to talk about it. Take care, okay? Nice meeting you. Thank you so much, Impress. So I pray that everybody that's on my live, go and subscribe to my channel, and I continue to um, look to building my community and building my family, because like, you guys are definitely an inspiration to me. Not that God don't inspire me, but it's good to hear other people like in the world who, we still have good people who definitely care about each other. When I tell you, at the beginning, when I first told my story, I was having so many negative comments that I didn't do it anymore. But God had to get me ready for this moment. Now people, talk about me and, things like that. I don't care. I literally don't care, because I know who I am and I know whose I am, and I know that I'm a child of God, and that's all that matters. And all I'm doing is doing God's will, and allowing Him to use me, because a lot of times when I come on my live, I talk about stuff. Social media can be cruel. A lot of times when I talk about stuff and I literally try to talk about something, God literally shifts me, and I know that it's Him. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be back on Wednesday at between 7:15 7:30. I will be back on here, and I pray to see you all next time, and you have a blessed evening.